There are some people out there who think that the white man invented slavery. I don't think this is true. Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back. I told you this video was coming. This is just a quick glossing over. A lot of glossing over will happen here because this is like 300,000 years of human history, right? But some people seem to think that white people with white skin, light skin, invented slavery, right? This isn't the case, right? So the first thing that I want to do is quickly gloss over why white people even exist and how long they've been around. Okay, right? So to do this, you need to understand evolution and vitamin D, right? This is where the first layer of gloss is going to come. So we all started in Africa, right? Ethiopia today, give or take, that's where most of the consensus says we started, right? So all of us as humans today, like anatomically modern humans, were black skinned because of where we lived and the vitamin D from the sun, which we don't really get from the sun, right? But when we had fur, we were light skinned, right? So we lost our fur because we're still apes. We've lost our fur. As we lost our fur and we were living in Africa, we needed higher levels of melanin to protect our skin from skin cancer. The ones that had lower melanin died off. They got more problems. So they were the ones that didn't breed out, and they were the ones that were bred out of existence through natural selection. Yeah? Then we started to migrate. And as we went further north, people with more melanin couldn't absorb UVB. You need to absorb UVB light from the sun. It hits your skin, it goes through your skin, and it reacts with a chemical that we produce. I think it's called PRED3. It reacts with that, and then through a process called isomerization, or something like that, it turns into vitamin D that we then use for our bones and for our immune systems and stuff like that. There's loads of reasons we need vitamin D. So as our ancestors migrated north and south, the ones that were darker didn't get enough vitamin D from the sun, and they had more immune problems and more bone problems. Like if you break a bone, 15,000 years ago, if you broke a bone, you were fucked. Especially if it was like a humerus or a femur, because the bone's like this, yeah? And when you snap it, it does this, because the muscles are still bound. The muscles still want to pull that piece of bone together. So it does that. So if you break your bone, without sufficient medical treatment, you're going to die. And if you've got low vitamin D, you've got bad calcium uptake, you've got weaker bones, you're more likely to die off. So black people, dark-skinned people, were more likely to die in regions further from the equator because their immune system and their bones would be compromised because of the environment they lived in. And conversely, white people now, light-skinned people, if I go to Australia where the UV's fucked, or if I go to like anywhere on the equator, I'm much more at risk of skin cancer than the natives are, right? So that's why vitamin D, that's where black and white people come from, right? So the white gene, the gene that allows us to be so melanin deficient that we can get sunlight enough that we don't die from our own immune system and we've got strong bones, pale people need more sun in them to compensate for where we live. I live in England. It's a very damp, cloudy rock. So I need to be pale. Otherwise, I'd end up vitamin D deficient. So people that have got darker skin, that live, like my subscribers that live in America, you guys, for example, if you live really far north, if you live in like the northern states of America or in Canada and you're dark skinned, you need some vitamin D. You need some vitamin D because your skin won't allow you to collect it from the sun because your skin's too thick to let it through because your skin's protecting you from what it believes would be harmful. So you guys are at risk of a vitamin D deficiency. The same way that if I went to Peru, I'd melt and I'd get skin cancer because my skin wouldn't protect me, right? But it's only existed for about 8 to 10,000 years, give or take. So white people, these white supremacist slavers like me, I'm a colonizer because of the colour of my skin. We have only been around for about 8 to 10,000 years, right? We've got civilizations. We found civilizations that were like communities that like had homes in little villages. We found them that date back over 300,000 years, right? So if we've had little communities and villages and settlements for over 300,000 years, even if you take that figure into doubt and you say 100,000 years, 50,000 years, right? If we've been doing this for 50,000 years and we've had a sense of ownership for 50,000 years and a sense of community for 50,000 years, and we've been at war with each other for 50,000 years, at least, You think that there wasn't people 40,000 years ago taking slaves and all of them were black in some form? You don't think that happened, right? Slavery is not a racist issue, right? It's not. Slavery is a human problem, and we are all humans. It's not a white or a black issue, it's a human problem. So what came first, slavery or the white man? Slavery. Peace.